First item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing. Mr. Stubbs.
I said I did, but I find it. Got it. Yeah, I got it. Ordinance number 2018-16, ordinance to approve the 2019 fiscal year budget for the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Whereas the duly elected governing authority for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia, the Official Code of Georgia, annotated 3635-3, and the Charter for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, to adopt reasonable ordinances to protect and improve public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Now therefore, it is hereby ordained by the governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe that the following shall constitute the fiscal year 2019 budget. The ordinance will take effect January 1st, 2019. Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing for purposes of citizen or public input with respect to the 2019 fiscal year budget. This public hearing is now open for comment. Anyone here who would like to speak either for or in opposition or give comment to the city's fiscal year 2019 budget? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Rob.
If you would, come up.
Oh,
State
make
your
this sign in, do you?
Yes, sir, I need for you to sign it.
Yep.
This ain't making no commitment, is it?
No, sir.
You will get a bill in the mail.
It's okay, I'll just add 10% and send it back.
Then you'll get another 20 and get it back.
Now, wait a minute.
Never going in, is it?
The only one property is the postman.
For the record, Gary, state your full name.
Gary Barley. I just want to address you people with this new budget coming up. The way the state of Georgia respects our veterans, such as driver's license, discounted car tax, et cetera, I think it'd be a plus for the city to help with Honor Park with contribution. Also make them look good with the state of Georgia because of Georgia being as tight as it is and as strong as it is to support the veterans. I mean, that's just, 2 cents worth. So, you need to take it into consideration.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Sir?
I said
I said
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Oh,
Is there anyone else who would like to speak either for or against or in compliment to the budget? Please come up. If I could get you to sign in first. Thank you. If you would state your full name.
Second Lieutenant Charity Gibson.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, I am Second Lieutenant Charity Gibson, and I would like to thank you for your contributions to Honor Park. I have done 3 tours overseas, 2 in the Middle East. When I came back this last year from my last tour, I came back with PTSD. Honor Park plays a special place in my heart. I can begin to tell you what it means to me, and it means to other veterans. I can tell you what it means to the first responders. Since I've come back, I've found out, and I've met many of your local veterans that have PTSD, and some of your first responders that do as well. And I can tell you personally, it's given me a little bit of peace, knowing that not only are we being recognized and remembered for our contributions, not only to the city of Fort Oglethorpe, but also to the United States, that our sacrifices are not in vain, and they have not been forgotten. So I just wanted to thank you for what you're doing, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak either for or against, or have some comment respecting the 2019 fiscal year Port Oglethorpe city budget? Mr. Mayor, doesn't appear anyone else expressed a desire to speak. We close the open meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. This time we'll call regular scheduled meeting to order. Mr. Rogers, if you would, please do the invocation. Mr. Crawford, lead us in the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all you've done for us, Lord. Thank you for our city. Thank you for the blessings that you've given us. Thank you for our country, Lord, and the blessings that you've given us living in this wonderful country, the greatest country in the world. Lord, give us wisdom as we conduct the business of the city. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes of previous council meeting. If members of council have had an opportunity to review these, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, communications from the mayor. On behalf of the city, I'd like to say a big thank you to all the veterans. Kind of fell on an unusual day, being on a Sunday, so. And ironically, this is the 100th year that this country is celebrating Veterans Day. And I was kind of surprised there wasn't a little bit more attention shown toward that, but 100 years that we've been thanking you folks that have served us, and just on behalf of the city, I'd like to just say thank you. Next item on the agenda is zoning matters. We have none. Next item on the agenda, ordinances. Ordinance number 1, second reading of ordinance number 2018-17, amendment to 2018 budget. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2018-17, ordinance to amend the 2018 fiscal year budget. Ordinance numbers 2017-09 and 2018-12 for the city of Port Oglethorpe, whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia, the official code of Georgia annotated 3635-3, and the charter for the city of Port Oglethorpe to adopt reasonable ordinances to protect and improve the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, and whereas the duly elected governing authority for the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia is vested in the city council, composed of a mayor and 5 council members, and whereas all ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed, and whereas that if any part of this ordinance shall be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of the ordinance, unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Therefore, it is hereby ordained by the governing authority of the city of Port Oglethorpe that the following shall constitute the amended 2018 fiscal year budget. This ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, 22nd of October 2018. Second reading, 12th day of November 2018.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 2 under ordinances. First reading, annexation. Ordinance number 2018-18. Mr. Stokes.
Annexation, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority hereof. Section 1, that the following property known by Robert White Northwest Mountain Investment LLC and known as Mount 0002A072 is annexed into the city of Port Oglethorpe. Said property is particularly described as an Exhibit A attached to the ordinance, annexation ordinance. If any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of the ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. This is the first reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 3, under ordinances, first reading for rezoning, ordinance number 2018-19. Mr. Stokes.
Rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof that the following property owned by Robert White, Northwest Mountain Investments LLC, and known as MAP 0002A081 is rezoned to a C2 special exception zoning. Said property is particularly described as follows in the Exhibit A attached thereto. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair the parts of the ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. This is the first reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 4, under ordinances, first reading, ordinance number 2018-20, an ordinance to amend and restate the retirement plan for the employees of the city of Port Oglethorpe.
Ordinance number 2018-20, an ordinance to amend and restate the retirement plan for the employees of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, in accordance with and subject to the terms and conditions set forth in the attached adoption agreement, any amendment or adoption agreement, the Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit System Master Plan document, and the GMEBS Trust Agreement, when accepted by the authorized officer of the city and GMEBS. The foregoing shall constitute a contract between the city and GMEBS, all as authorized and provided by OCGA section 47-5-1 et sec. Be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, and it's hereby ordained by authority thereof, section 1, that the retirement plan for the employees of the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia is hereby amended and restated as is set forth herein and subject to the terms and conditions in said following adoption agreement. The amendment to the adoption agreement, the Georgia Municipal Employee Benefit System Master Plan document, and the GMEBS Trust Agreement. That's the first reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. Resolution number 2018-03, position control and employee pay plan.
Resolution 2018-03, a resolution establishing a position control and pay plan for all classified and appointed personnel. Whereas the city of Port Oglethorpe desires a position control document outlining all the classified and appointed personnel authorized by the mayor and city council, along with their official titles and a position within the organizational structure. And whereas the mayor and city council for the city of Port Oglethorpe, Georgia, desire to establish a pay plan according to the minimum and maximum hourly rates for each classified and appointed employee, so as to assure reasonable compensation for each position based on qualifications and experience. Now therefore, be it resolved that the position control and pay plan for classified and appointed employees shall be in substantially the same form as Appendix A, which is attached to and made part of this resolution. So resolved this 12th day of November 2018.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
I have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ms. James?
Yes.
Ms. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Child?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We have none. Next item on the agenda, reading of city clerk of any communications. We have none. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1 in the new business, proposed approval to purchase new police department evidence lockers. Chief Elton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The police department would like to make a recommendation to purchase and improve our new evidence locker system. We've had the same one in place since they moved into the building. Frankly, it doesn't meet official locker standards at all. It's focusing on one of our 12 critical tasks, which is property and evidence, integrity, and maintaining that integrity and having enough space for that to be done. These lockers are not the type of lockers that you would think of in a gymnasium or school setting. These are high-quality lockers that could not be easily penetrated. They'll also be usable. We're going to install them in the hallway right now, but when we get a chance to remodel and have an evidence entryway where we can package evidence, they can be cross-used because we can mount them inside a wall, where on the other side of the wall, the evidence technician could take it out the back. So we'll have them for current and future. They'll last 40, 50 years. They're going to be long-term pieces of metal. They're strong. We took 3 bids. The companies that we submitted quotes for were Patterson Pope, Tiffin Metal, and Fasco Incorporated. Fasco Incorporated was the low quote. It's also the best product of what we found out there as well, so that came in good for us. That amount is $7,933, and we do have it within our budget for that.
Thank you, Chief Helton. Have a motion to approve.
Motion, sir.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2, under new business, proposed approval of 2 contracts to upgrade sidewalks at the ball fields. Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is for the Recreation Department. We're requesting to replace the sidewalks up there. We have a lot of them that is, there's some concrete, some asphalt, some gravel, and some just grass and dirt areas. But to try to get it all in ADA compliance and to where you can maneuver throughout the ball fields all the way through from one field to the other. And we advertised for the sealed bids for forming and pouring the walkways, and then did a separate bid for just a concrete supplier where the city will buy the concrete from the concrete plant direct. And we received 4 bids on the forming and pouring. The low bid was J.M. Hanner Construction out of Chattanooga. Their bid was $1.50 per square foot for the forming and pouring. And also we did 3 different bid prices on building some catch basins where we're gonna put in some storm drainage also there. And one price was $480 a piece, one's $680, and one's $1440. That's for the different size and depths on those. And the next lowest bid that we had was $3.75, and the other ones were from South Georgia, or from Brunswick, Savannah area, and then Stone Mountain area, I believe, is where they were from. So the local was extremely lower. And then we also put out for sealed bids for the concrete. The low bid on it, we only received one, was basic ready mix at $116 per yard, and that was including the fiber. We'll have, on cold days, we might have to add some calcium to it, so I think it's just a couple of dollars a yard that was added in, but the base price is $116 per yard on there. And whole contract price, we'll be doing a lot of work in-house with city staff, so the price we're looking at will be somewhere $80,000 to $100,000, and it is in the 2014 splash for this item.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Will that be done this year?
Yes, we'll be
2019?
starting on it there. Hopefully, weather cooperate, we'll have it done for spring baseball season.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 3, under new business, proposed approval of employee Christmas token. Ms. Cynthia.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This is an annual item that the city tries to do for each employee, each full-time employee, and each permanent part-time employee, to show our appreciation for the dedication of city staff. We don't do annual bonuses and things like that, so this is just a token of what we're requesting is $100 Walmart gift cards to show our appreciation for our staff's work in 2018 for a total cost of $7,800. We have currently 75 full-time employees and 3 permanent part-time employees. And if this item is approved, the tokens will be distributed at our annual holiday luncheon in early December. This item is part of our budget. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. I have a motion to approve.
Motion, sir.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I just wanna give a shout out to all our employees, our directors and all. They work very hard. We appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4 under new business, proposed approval of contract with Hatley LLC. Ms. Simpkins.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a recommendation to approve RFQ 00118, a request for qualifications that was released earlier this year on March 16th, for the purchase of professional services to review and update our zoning policy. To the most qualified proposer, Hatley Consulting, in the amount of $48,500. This is important to us. Our zoning code is outdated and impractical. Appendix A of the Code of Ordinances establishes much of the policy. However, chapters 10, 14, 18, 34, 42, 54, 62, 66, 74, 78, 86, and 90 all include policies that affect zoning, and some of them are contradictory. So we believe that the $48,000 that we're requesting to spend to update our zoning policy and consolidate all of those chapters and Appendix A into a unified development code will be a great use of public resources, and it will help us form our policy around our current needs for development and future development.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I just want to add a little something here. I don't know if councilman remember or not, but this same proposal was put to us about 6 months ago. At that time, that price was about $158,000, if I remember correctly. And Ms. Simpkins and Mr. Quarles have been working on this thing diligently and did most of the hard work. So they were able to go back and renegotiate this thing with all the material that they had come up with and got it down to $48,000. This is a pretty important thing for this city, probably something should have been done years ago, but it's something we definitely need. But I just wanted to say hats off to Ms. Simpkins and Mr. Quarles for getting this figure down to a doable figure, and I highly recommend that the council approve this.
Thank you, Mayor.
And I'd also, to comment on that, our codes are all over the board, as she said, and this will save us, this could save us a lot of money in the future legally. So, good job.
Any other questions, comments?
Does this have included the overlay districts and like Lafayette Road?
It does not, however, we're communicating with Paige Hatley now. She is gonna do an assessment for us outside of this. It'll be a separate proposal to develop a overlay district for our downtown development district, the Lafayette streetscape area, because we're putting a pretty large public investment in that area, and it'll be very helpful for the city and developers to understand what the vision for that area is. So that's to come.
Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, city manager's report. Ms. Simpkins.
I just have a couple thank yous tonight, and the first one's to Council Lady Rhonda James for sharing her human resources expertise and really helping city staff come up with a position control and a very fair pay plan that's gonna help this organization and really set the tone for the future. So thank you, Ms. James, we appreciate you very much. And also a thank you to the Fort Oglethorpe Tourism Association and the Chattanooga Track Club for the Battlefield Marathon this past Saturday. We had about 1,500 people in the marathon and the half, and Paula may have more statistics on the 5K. But it was a fantastic event, and we appreciate all that the Chattanooga Track Club does to bring visitors to our area, because those folks stay and eat. We saw lots of them at Panera after the race, so we appreciate having them contribute to our city economy.
It wasn't hot soup, was it?
Yes, sir.
Give me some of that chili with jalapenos in it.
That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. Next item on the agenda, city council comments. Mr. Childs?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Veterans Day too, to all veterans. My dad was in World War II, I was in the Navy. People don't really think about, we have some people in this country that just don't understand. We have a freedom, we are a free country, and it did not come easy. My hat's off. But one other thing, this year, primary health care, again, is Dancing with the NorthGeorgiaStars.com is the website. I will not be dancing this year, but I'm taking a year off, but I can guarantee you I'll dance the following year with a special individual that works on this staff down at the end. But this year, but this year, it has changed. The website is ngstars.com. There's 12 individuals throughout Walker, Catoosa, mostly from Catoosa, and I think there's one or two in Dade. It goes to primary health care, which they do not turn, they accept everyone. If you have insurance or not, they accept it. We got one over in Tiger Creek here, and then there's one in Gilbert. But it is a very, very good fundraiser, and it's a great night. It'll be February the 2nd. So every dollar counts, please. You know, $100 a ticket to go see it. You get drinks and free food, and it's worth it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very worth it.
Anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Mr. Crawford?
Yeah, I'd like to say what he was saying. Mr. Barley is correct on what he's saying. We need to do more for our veterans, and I'd like to say thank you to you guys for speaking earlier that served, and that's a special sacrifice. And to all veterans out there, I'd like to say thank you. My grandfather was a World War II veteran, and I know it's a sacrifice to your family. Also, dealing with the veterans, in our city, just a few people, I know Chris McKeever with the 6th Cavalry, she makes sure, you know, our history and veterans are remembered. Sam Kinder with the VFW, she does a good job with them. And these are just a couple I see at the council meeting. And Paula, you do an excellent job with, you know, being a spokesperson for them on the city council. I appreciate that. And I'd like to say, the other thing is, I'd like to say congratulations to, well, I think it's kind of a historical weekend this past weekend for Ringo, Heritage, and LFO, and our friends on the other side of Ridgeland. They all had playoff football games, and I think that's the first time in this area that all those schools that's kind of comes into our community made the football playoffs. I know Ridgeland's the lone survivor, but good luck to them. And but it was great, a great atmosphere. Me and Commissioner Long went up to the game, and it was a really good atmosphere up there. It was cold, but it was a good atmosphere, and exciting to see playoff football in our area. Just congratulations to all those coaches and players and seniors. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to the veterans as well. Both of my grandfathers served in Korea. All of you that are here that are veterans, thank you. Thank you for your service. Also, congratulations to the folks that participated in the race this weekend. Ms. Simpkins she did a great job in the half marathon. My wife ran the half marathon, and she did a great job as well. So kudos to her. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James?
Thank you to the veterans. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And also, Richland, go Panthers.
David fired a butt, didn't he?
That's right. I'm a warrior, but you gotta stand behind the Panthers.
We got a pool for the closest one. Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stennett?
Yes, sir. Well, as everyone has mentioned, Saturday, November the 10th was the Chickamauga Battlefield Marathon, half marathon, 5K and the junior marathon. Over 2,000 people were at Barnhart Circle and here in Fort Oglethorpe. Over 2,000 people. The restaurants were full. As Ms. Simpkins said, Panera, I was at Waffle House, they said they always had a banner day, over $3,000 day that morning. The economic impact was felt by several organizations around here, and we can contribute it to having these events in Fort Oglethorpe. Just like Rick Honeycutt, when we have these big ball tournaments that Craig and Derek are a big part of. This brings a lot of people to our community. And not to mention those 385K participants whose registration fee goes in part to our own 6th Cavalry Museum and to LFO High School's JROTC program. These events have our big, big economic impact, and most people are celebrating the fact that we have these here. And we can really brag about it because our own Battlefield Marathon has been voted one of the top 10 marathons in the country. That's substantial. We had people from 39 different states, including California, here participating in this marathon. So that's something to brag about, Fort O. As mentioned, yesterday we honored those who served in the military. It was a special Veterans Day, as the mayor said. It was the 100th anniversary of the armistice, which ended World War I. And of course, that was the Great War, the war that was to end all wars. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So as that is, let's make sure that every day is Veterans Day to honor all those who serve. And as this is the season of thanks, and we have much for which to be thankful, I pray that each and every one of you have a blessed Thanksgiving Day. God bless you all. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Next item on the agenda, citizens' petitions and requests. We have none. Next item on the agenda is executive session. We do not have anything for executive session tonight. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Make a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.